Alright, what's up, people? I have a different team profile this time. It's not LC. This is going to be my NU team that I built not too long ago, a few hours ago. It isn't really complete, but I think there's a lot of good, so I'll go over things. But before I do go over things, I filmed my most recent Pokemon Emerald playthrough episode. I think it was episode 4. And during the editing, I ended up speeding up half the video past the regular 1 times. I think it's like 1.25 times. And I played it over, and I just found it so funny. Like, it isn't something that I'm gonna do regularly for my videos, but the reason why I did it was to stay under the 15-minute mark for the time of the total video, because I still have that limitation on my channel. I can't have videos over 15 minutes. I did it to try and solve that, and the speed, in my opinion, was just hilarious. I thought it was so funny. So basically, this is what it will sound like for my next video. I'll do a few seconds of me doing it.
Alright, so as I'm speaking now, this is how half of that video will be, and any music in the background or whatever, it just completely changes. That was the thing I found the most the thing I found the most funny, was the music in the background was just completely different, and there are other people featuring in that video as well, because I was filming it with some friends, and their voices are just completely different. So I just found it too funny. So that will be uploaded at some point. But when it happens, they'll be like, "Oh, what is this like?" It's just gonna be for that one video. But I think it is kind of funny in that one video.
Now, with that in mind, we can look at the team. So I built it around a 2 Pokemon defensive core, or 2.5, I guess. That will be explained. But the main core that I was looking to utilize was Weezing, physically defensive Weezing, alongside a specially defensive Lickitung set. And firstly, Weezing. Weezing is just a Pokemon that I've always rated, really, back when it was UU, that sort of tier placement. I've always thought it was a very good physical wall. So when I was looking through the list of all the Pokemon that were in the NU tier, I saw Weezing, and I just thought to myself, I have to put that as the first Pokemon in my team, and then build the team around that. So in went Weezing, a pretty standard set, except Toxic Spikes over Flamethrower, which is what a fair amount of people play. Toxic Spikes has been incredibly good. I think is very, very useful, particularly in the tier NU, just because the way that NU is, it isn't a very fast-paced tier, to be honest, just because you get a lot of bulky Pokemon. You don't have many adept sweepers, because if there were any adept sweepers, they wouldn't be NU, they would be in a higher tier, be it RU or UU. So because of that, it is a very slow tier, and with a very slow tier comes incredible use with regards to Toxic Spikes, even if it just means spreading a poison, like just a regular poison, to one of their Pokemon. It can be potentially very, very useful. So I put Toxic Spikes in, and Toxic Spikes has been very good since I put it in. And then Lickitung, I just figured that it would serve as a very good partner to Marlboro, to Weezing. I never really rated Ordino or any of the other more standard bulky special walls. I just never really liked any of them, and I thought of Licky as a potential partner, but Licky is in a higher tier. So then naturally I thought, well, what about Lickitung? And Lickitung does its job very well. It has two primary jobs as a wish passer and as a cleric. It fulfills both roles very well. And Lickitung in this tier is very, very effective at taking special hits. It just has that longevity which enables it to be the effective wish passer that is, and its HP is naturally very high, which helps as well. So I'm definitely happy with Lickitung. And there's also synergy in that if you set up layers of toxic spikes, then Lickitung can play the Wish Protect toxic stall game very effectively. So there's a lot to like, and both of them have had a very good partnership since I made it earlier on today. They are the two most important Pokemon in this team, and they carry the team. So then I figured that with regards to typing, I would need another wall, and I wanted a Pokemon that set up Stealth Rocks as well. So I looked for a Steel type, mainly just to cover the weakness to Psychic that Weezing has, and I thought the nose pass is pretty good. Sorry, Probopass, not even nose pass. Probopass is pretty good at its job. First, he can set up Stealth Rocks, which is very useful. But I also wanted a Pokemon with some type of U-turn or Volt Switch-esque move, and Probopass has Volt Switch. It isn't an incredible user of Volt Switch, but it does it perfectly adequately. Works as a defensive pivot quite well, and Thunder Wave is useful for spreading status to the faster Pokemon in an opponent's team if they do possess them. So after that, I didn't really want to put Power Gem on it or anything like that, so I ended up giving it Magic Coat, just because Probopass is naturally very slow. It'll probably be slower than a large number of other Pokemon in the tier, but at the same time, again, it isn't a very fast tier, so there are a lot of non-damage inflicting moves that the opponent will use. So I figured the Magic Coat would be quite useful, just to mitigate the usefulness of those moves for the opponent, particularly in regards to setting up layers of entry hazards and things like that, and spreading status and whatnot. That was the idea when I put Probopass in the team. And so far, it's done okay. It hasn't done amazing, but it's done okay. Then, Sawk. Sawk came in over Scyther originally. I had choice band Scyther in because Scyther had U-turn. But what I quickly found was that I didn't like Scyther's frailty to Stealth Rock. It became a massive problem. So I put in Sawk, in large part because it does resist Stealth Rock. But Sawk is very, very powerful with a choice band. It will almost always get a KO. If it hits something unresisted with close combat, they'll most likely be dead. And then the other moves are just for coverage. If it hits with a super effective move again, the opposing Pokemon will probably be out. Knockoff is the move that you will use the most. It's just a very useful move. And then Ice Punch and Poison Jab are just coverage moves. So that's cool. Then Mismagius. Mismagius serves both as a spin blocker, just because I know that the concept of spin blocker hasn't really been applied for a long time, but I do feel as if I would want something to check spin blockers, because that there aren't really any good rapid spinners in the tier. Like, there are rapid spinners that are really bad, but they're there purely because they know the move rapid spin, which is something with the War Turtle in the team that I didn't want. So I'll get onto that later. But yeah, they're just bad Pokemon. So the concept of a good ghost Pokemon that can come in on these bad Pokemon and make their only useless is a pretty relevant one, in my opinion. And I had empty space. These things may change. I'm thinking putting Drift Blim in and experimenting with that, because then I won't need War Turtle potentially defog. But even so, Mismagius is good. It's fast and powerful, which is useful. So you can do either Taunt to cripple slower stall type teams, or you can just go and try to hit things with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is powerful coming off Mismagius, and at worst you can Destiny Bond something and trade with it potentially. So Mismagius has been pretty useful in that respect. The only thing that I haven't really come to like is Dazzling Gleam, so I may replace Dazzling Gleam with something, but I mean, it does check its dark weakness, so who knows. And then finally, I have War Turtle just because I wanted something with Rapid Spin, but it's also pretty good in that it is my only Pokemon that is there to check setup sweepers, because it happens to have Haze, and the reason why I put Haze on it is because there was no point in me putting Toxic, considering how often I'll be able to set up a layer at least of Toxic Spikes with Weezing, because Weezing gets a lot of switch-ins. So because of that, I put in Haze, and Haze has been very useful since I put it in. So it's multifaceted. It isn't just entirely a Rapid Spin Pokemon, but obviously my primary use for it is as a Rapid Spinner. Although with an Eviolite on it, War Turtle gains decent bulk. It isn't incredible bulk, but decent bulk. And possessing water typing is never really a bad thing. I definitely felt that there was a water type shaped hole in my team. War Turtle may not necessarily be the perfect option to fill that vacuum, but certainly an adequate one for now. No doubt I will have changes made to this team, but mainly the primary partnership is between Eviolite, Lickitung, and physically defensive Weezing, and the rest of the team is built around that. So, yeah. That cut out. Yeah, that is the team profile. Like, comment, subscribe, whatnot. I'll probably play some matches with this team, see what happens, and I'll do update videos if anything changes. But yeah, see you around.